Now, when former President Richard Nixon signed the Education Amendments Act into law 50 years ago, it contained 37 words known as Title IX. Now, it would have a profound impact on educational and athletic opportunities for girls and women.
ABC's Morgan Norwood takes a look back at the history of sex discrimination in America and looks ahead to what still needs to be done to truly have equity in sports.
That's me right there.
In both the 1964 and 1968 Olympic Games, track legend Wyoming Tyus won the 100-meter sprint, making her the first person to win back-to-back gold medals in the race. But at the time, her success was not met with the accolades that her male counterparts would have received.
They started to talk about the back-to-back 100 meters when they televised in Carl Lewis. They said he was the first one to ever do that. All my friends are calling me, yelling, how could they just totally overlook you? I said, it's always been that way. It's not just me.
Sarah Axelson of the Women's Sports Foundation explains that the fight for gender equality had only just begun, and it had a long way to go.
In the 60s and 70s, it was a much wider movement for women's rights. You see the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Equal Pay Act of 1963. And so there was movement for equal rights, but there really wasn't anything addressing sex discrimination in education.
Then in 1972, the United States Congress passed Title IX, which prohibits sex discrimination in educational programs that receive federal funds. The law was critical for ensuring women and girls had access to education, but Title IX has become most well known for its application to athletics.
Over the last 50 years, we've seen exponential growth in women and girls' access to sport opportunities. Prior to Title IX, fewer than 300,000 high school girls had access to sport, and those numbers have skyrocketed. Almost 3.5 million girls in high school have access today.
But Axelson emphasizes that even after 5 decades, there's still so much progress that needs to be made. A data analysis by ABC News and the ABC-owned television stations shows that approximately 1 in 5 U.S. high schools still have a significant gap between sports opportunities for girls versus those for boys. Those gaps are about twice as prominent in high schools where a majority of the students are Black.
There are populations that have been left behind by the law. We know that the primary beneficiaries of Title IX have been suburban white girls, and that's where the majority of the progress has been made.
Axelson says the anniversary of Title IX is an opportunity to fight for equality across the board.
It's important to pause and celebrate the progress that has been made in the last 50 years for Title IX, but we know that there is more work to do and we're not done yet.
Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.